of people that were passionate, if they asked on
No. I said, I'll take it though, and I'll bring them to work with me. And she said, okay, we're going to take pictures. So I've been bringing this thing around with me all day today. Taking pictures wherever I've been.
Yeah.
I understand, I had two.
Biscuit
I don't need to move here. I'm only here to see
how.
I'm only here to see how the stream starts.
All right. Well, we'll take care of it.
Yeah, see, I don't see it in here.
I'll call it. Find out what the.
Okay, our session of the Hamilton County Airport Authority is now in session, so please take the roll.
Phil Beer, Justin Clevenger,
Here.
Kent Erb,
Here.
Bill Fry,
Here.
Dave Richter.
Here.
Okay, we have quorum, so we will move on. First item of business is approval of executive session memoranda from July 31st of this year and from August 13th this evening. So can I have a motion to approve the memoranda?
So moved. Second.
Let's see, I guess we have to take a Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item is approval of minutes from the July 9th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move. Second.
Any further discussion, additions, corrections, additions, whatever? If not, we'll, all in favor of approving the minutes from July 9th, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone who doesn't approve, say nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. I don't have anything specific from a president's report standpoint tonight. Any of the board members have anything you want to say?
No, sir.
Okay, with that, we'll go to public, any public comments? No? Okay, airport director's report.
That was lightning fast, and I don't have it pulled up yet. Give me 1 second. Struggling with the internet here. All right, I guess while I'm waiting to pull this up, want to introduce everyone to my daughter's stuffed animal Biscuit, who is accompanying me to work today because she wanted me to bring it to work. So here Biscuit is. So in case you see the stuffed animal, there's a reason behind it. All right, perfect. All right, so it's been quite the busy month, both at Exec and Sheridan. So I've got quite a few things to talk about. I'm going to kind of hand off some of these topics to others as I have in the past. So the Glide Slope project is going well, but I'll let Nick talk about it more in detail during his portion. I don't have any updates in the South Neighborhood Development. Our attorneys might have that in their portion later on, so I'll skip that for now. All right, so big updates for the month. Customs Facility project is progressing well. We had a pretty extensive kickoff meeting at the end of July. We had quite a few representatives from the Airport Authority, Woolpert, Bex, and of course Customs as well at that meeting, and had a lot of good discussion. I think we have some pretty clear path forward on the development of the facility and kind of how we want that to grow from a design perspective. We are going to work with Woolpert on kind of an initial design for the facility, but we're also working with the Customs folks at the same time to make sure that we're designing it to how they want it to be done. So we're still working out some of those initial details. I know we've talked about that already. But hopefully we'll have a little bit more clear direction here over the next couple of weeks or so from them, and we'll kind of start running with this. Obviously, the development and growth of the Bex hangar is our critical path on this, so we want to try and meet that as much as we can and stay in line with them. I'm working on a couple of paperwork items, including a memorandum of understanding with the local Indianapolis port, so I'm going to work with the port director on that. Over the following probably a couple of months or so to get that developed. At some point, you guys will see that. That'll probably require a board signature to codify. So all in all, things are going well. We're kind of more at the paperwork stage, but excited to be going down the road with that. The electrical project is progressing well. We're at the punch list items, so expect that to be probably fully off this list here, potentially by next month as we finish off the last few items. We do expect a flight check on the PAPIs and the runway edge lights next week. I believe next Wednesday is when the most recent date we have for that. So that should be happening soon, and then we'll get those PAPIs completely certified and official. So looking forward to that. We did have a power outage because of the project at the L3 Harris ADSB tower. That's the tall tower, kind of our fuel farm. We found out that was apparently directly powered from the old vault, and so when the old vault disappeared, so did that power. So we worked with the contractor, with AFC, to restore power to that ADSB tower, and all seems to be well now. That was, I think, the only hiccup we had when we removed the old vault. That was the only kind of mysterious power source. We figured we have a couple of things that maybe went dark, and of all the things, that was it. So that we know of so far. We did host, so kind of some other smaller items this month. We did host Westfield Fire Department for their annual EVOC training, so evasive drivers training essentially. and we're going to be doing the same thing next week with Zionsville as well. So continue to work with both sides of the county line and their first responders. I did attend a comprehensive plan focus group for Westfield. Westfield's going through a new comprehensive plan, and they've put a lot of focus recently on the west part of their city, specifically near the county line. So there's been a lot of questions about how to grow and develop that area from their perspective. I'm glad I attended this particular meeting because one of the focus group questions was specifically about the airport and how to develop and utilize the airport on the western side of the city. They've also had a lot of questions about building height and compatible uses and stuff like that. So they're asking a lot of the right questions for how to grow that area. All that to say is I would not be surprised to see the western part of Westfield start to develop here within the next 5 years or so as they fulfill that plan. I'll continue to keep kind of an eye on that as they develop that. All right, we completed the taxi lane repair that we discussed last month. So that is more or less done. The pavement is completed. We're still waiting on the paint, but the pavement does look good. So that was great to be able to have Fredericks come out and get that fixed within really about 2 weeks or so of the last board meeting. So a major improvement for the concrete. South of the Bex hangar. Bex has begun work. They might mention some of that later, I'm not sure, but they've begun some of their site work for the new hangar, so a lot of dirt moving, and then some utility work will begin here pretty shortly as well. So exciting to see some work occurring over there, and it's obviously just the first of many steps in a very many-step process to develop that hangar, but the first steps have been taken, so that is exciting. We did complete our annual INDOT airfield inspection, and that happened for both Sheridan and Indy Exec within about the same week. So both airports were reviewed and certified by INDOT and good for the next year. And then we have officially kicked off our Taxiway Alpha extension project as well. Again, don't want to get too far ahead of you, Nick, on that one, but we've had the pre-construction meeting, and actually a couple of meetings now, and we anticipate them to kind of start in earnest on that project within the next 1 to 2 weeks. So that will be exciting to have them out here and working on our next big multi-million-dollar project. So exciting things to happen here. Should have some good updates on that for the next meeting. Moving over to Sheridan. So obviously the county closed on the Sheridan Airport in mid-July. So very exciting stuff. And we obviously have hit the ground running on getting the airport operationally in our name. There's been a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and I want to thank Haley, really the rest of the auditor's office as well, Kelly, who works with the county council. We've had a lot of people from across the county contributing a lot of time and effort into making that process happen. It has not been easy, and we're still dealing with some of the stuff on the back end. But we are getting there, I would say. In part, I don't know if you might have some stuff later on about some of the money stuff potentially, or getting the bank accounts established, or do you want me to mention that?
You can. The bank accounts are established.
Okay, yeah. So we did establish a new bank account for Sheridan.
A checking and a savings account.
Checking and savings account. So the funding will be completely separate between the two airports, and we're going to appropriate where the money has been appropriated or will be deposited into the account tomorrow.
It's been appropriated. It's going to be deposited tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. So that's the excess money from the purchase that was appropriated that has not been spent yet. So doing a lot of that back-end money stuff has been a lot of work, but we are just about there and operational on that side of things. The very first thing we did, I think within the first week of buying the airport, was install a new credit card reader. So the credit card reader that came with the airport was old and unsupported and did not work. So day one, a new brand new M4000 credit card reader, state of the art, was installed there at the airport. It's not up and running yet. We have a few things on the back end to get fixed and kind of sorted out, but the reader itself is installed. And really kind of where I want to transition to now is how we're working on establishing kind of a long-term plan for how to manage fuel and in hangars as well to an extent at the airport. But really fuel is the top priority at the moment for the airport. So we've been working with Jet Access, and I mean, Ben, I guess if you want to jump up now, we can talk a little bit about it. But we've been working with Jet Access for a couple of weeks now to try and understand how we can best utilize their knowledge and skills in the area of fueling. That's what you guys do best. And so we didn't want to have to try and reinvent the wheel on that side of the spectrum. So, when we talk about kind of daily, weekly, monthly, annual type inspections that need to occur at the fuel farm there, and ensuring that it's topped up on a regular basis and has a reliable source of fuel on the back end. Jet Access, I think, is the no-brainer way to go. So we don't have an agreement yet. We were kind of hoping to have one for this meeting. I don't have that. I do have kind of an initial, we can call it a memo from Jet Access for how they kind of anticipate helping us manage the fuel farm there. So I'm going to hand that out. Again, this is fresh off the press. I printed this out this afternoon, so I was not able to email this out. There you go. I've got extra copies if anyone else wants one. But the idea it would be essentially to bring in Jet Access on kind of a monthly fee type basis to do some of the stuff I mentioned: inspections, monitoring the fuel tank, providing the credit card services in the background. So when someone swipes their card, Jet Access manages that kind of that software in the background. Let's see here.
Sam,
Yes.
I'll chime in a little
Yeah.
bit just because I don't want y'all to get too hung up on any numbers that you see. This is kind of based off of what we did at Hendricks County for Lyft. So it's really mirroring what we've already done with the Hendricks County Airport and kind of our support over there. What we really would like to do, I think it'd be a good idea to sit down and just see what works because we want to help you all out there. But at the same time, we don't want to have a full Jet Access presence. So we really see this being a partnership where we can help you all be successful up there. And yes, like what he said, if that means utilizing our accounting platform so we can, if you want us to manage the hangar payments so that people can pay by credit card. Really, we can be as involved as you all want or as not involved as you all want, but we really want to offer to help in any way that you all see fit. So
Yeah, it's
this
not,
is kind of a good basis.
Yeah, it's not an FBO, right? We're not establishing an FBO there. It's really more of a partnership to kind of provide
Start the
assistance.
conversation.
Yeah.
Would we be able to provide lower cost per gallon to the constituents based upon this due to your large contracts that you have? Fuel
Yes,
contracts?
because all the fuel we'll be ordering it through AvFuel, so we'll be able to utilize our buying power.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could essentially set that rate how we want it to, based off whatever margin we want it.
And there's a lot of different ways that this can be structured. I mean, Sam and I talked through some a little bit, but that's where I think it'd probably be best to sit down, whether it's an exec meeting or whatever you all think would be best.
We want the fuel just as quickly as possible.
We've talked about in the short term too, us helping out. And,
Okay?
Yeah.
So these numbers are arbitrary, $100 a day to come and inspect the tank?
So, and again, I think some of this is based on, I think there's been some talk about you all hiring somebody up there to do dailies.
Yeah.
So yeah, the $1,500 is essentially a flat monthly fee. So that would cover the weekly checks, monthly checks, quarterly, annual checks, as well as us managing the farm, ordering the fuel, going out there, receiving the fuel loads, those kinds of things. So yes, the $100 would be any time you all want us to come out and do a daily fuel quality check, then we would come out that day, but we would charge you $100.
And I didn't know until I was sitting in one of the meetings with these guys, but those daily checks are extremely important because if there gets moisture in that fuel and it quits running, that's not a good plan. So I think from a liability purpose, that of me sitting in this chair for all these years, that's kind of the most risk avoidance step in the whole process.
Absolutely.
It's vital.
Yeah, it has
and we would also facilitate with some training as well.
Yeah.
For whoever you hire, we would train them on our fuel quality process, teach them the ropes. So
Okay.
So we could kind of transition some of this work eventually to ourselves in-house.
But there is certainly a lot to unpack and discuss.
this is kind of an initial thing, and then we kind of tailor this back potentially in the future, or scale it however we want to, based off of, how our own hiring goes, and the timeline for that as well.
Yeah.
But to kind of answer your question about the fuel, obviously getting fuel there is the top priority right now. We've gone up there with Jet Access, and we've identified a few things to the current take that we want to get done, again, from a liability perspective, before we start putting fuel in it ourselves. And so I do have a quote that I got just yesterday to get the work done that has been identified, that includes new hose reels and hose, a ladder, OSHA-approved ladders, hand pumps, sumps, new stainless piping. We also need to basically tilt the tank, because the tank right now is at a kind of an odd angle and isn't going to allow us to properly sump it. So there's a few things that need to be done. It's somewhere, it's actually looking like about a $13,000 to $14,000 cost to get that tank up and running. So that was going to be kind of my next conversation to have with the board, was approval to get that work done.
And how much was the credit card terminal?
Install was about $20,000. It was $18,000 plus $2,000 to install. So that would be, again, this would be the rest of the work that needs to get done. And then at that point, we can get the fuel delivery probably as soon as that work is done. I'm told the initial work, at least the stuff that we don't consider ancillary, like the hose reel and stuff like that, but the actual initial sumping out and retilting of the tank, we can have done by as early as this Friday. So we could hopefully get fuel delivered to that tank maybe next week if timing goes well.
Definitely.
That would be the goal.
I can usually get it in a day or two.
Are you asking for a motion?
Yeah, I would ask for approval from the board for, we'll say, up to $15,000 if that works.
This is going to come out of the money that's going in the bank.
This is the Sheridan money. This is the excess money.
It's not
We
out of
have
our budget.
about $250,000, I think.
$285,000.
Perfect. $285,000 of money that was appropriated to us for the Sheridan acquisition that was not used for the actual acquisition. So this is coming out of that excess fund.
Just want to make sure it doesn't come out of our budget this.
Because it was known that there was going to be a lot of upfront work to do. That's
Yeah.
just part of the situation.
Yeah.
What is your outlook, plan, thoughts on some kind of an agreement between the Sheridan and Jet Access for his services, for at least for the fuel?
I
You got a memo, but that's probably not enough.
Yeah, we really wanted to have an agreement. We just couldn't get the timing down for this meeting. So, I mean, I don't know if it's possible if we want to do like a work session, or of course we need to sign something that probably needs to be
I'll
done at a
bet you the board would be
meeting.
okay with starting it and bringing the agreement to the next board meeting, and we'll just codify it there.
Yeah, like a tentative month by month type thing, approval right now until we have a final agreement, which I would imagine we'll have by the next board meeting.
Are there rates that need to be thought through?
So I mean, I would say that these rates right now are probably accurate based off the conversation we've had.
Yeah.
Now, again, like I said, I see us maybe tailoring some of this work back in the future and taking some of this in-house. But for now, for summer of 2025, I think the costs that are on here are fair enough for us to get the process going at Sheridan, and then we can scale as we need to. We know Jet Access will work with us. So if we sign an agreement, at the next board meeting that says we'll lock in these rates for a year, or whatever it might be, pending any changes to employment, with the county or whatever it might be. I'm sure we could build in that language too to help us scale things as we need to.
How about move forward temporarily until the next board meeting, subject to the board approval and getting all the rates and whatever's in it, get it approved in case it might change at that point?
As presented.
Will that work for
Yeah,
for
it
you?
works for us.
Well, right now, we're just talking about the 13,000 to get the.
Yeah,
fuel
there's
tank.
two things going on, both related to fuel, of course. But yeah, we have the tank, which
And then
is,
filling it and selling it and
Yeah.
refilling it
so we have
between now and the next meeting.
two
So that would
things.
happen as well.
So I guess I would ask for two motions. One, we'll say up to $15,000 to repair the current tank and get that up and running. And then the second, to enter into a short-term tentative, a 1 month agreement, however you want to word it, short-term agreement that I can enter in with jet access and start getting fuel right away.
Provisional agreement.
Provisional, that's, yeah.
And that's the 1,500 a month.
Yeah, that would be, so it'd probably be one.
For whatever the fees are to provide the fuel.
Yeah,
And
and then we can bring you an actual agreement to have a discussion on for September's meeting.
and if it changes from that point on.
Do you all want, as part of that agreement, is there a general consensus that you want hangar payments and kind of management
You don't
in that
want to,
agreement?
you don't want to
No?
go down the hangar road.
Okay, so just fuel only? Okay. I just want to get a feel.
Yeah, just fuel for now, and we can,
It appears to me from talking to the rent, the fuel is of the highest priority to the people that are renting out there.
Okay.
They know where to send the money, they started sending it, the rent in, and the access to fuel on the field is high priority.
I'll make a motion that Sam is able to proceed with the repairs and upgrades to the fuel tank as necessary to get it going, to be able to fill it up with fuel up to $15,000.
So, okay, any further discussion? If not, we'll call the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries.
I'll make a second motion that Sam can move forward with negotiating provisional rates for providing the fuel with jet access, and then bring an agreement to the board next month. And if anything changes at that point, it'll change from then on.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll call the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries.
Sam, do you have a way to communicate with the Sheridan pilots, just so we, their bated breath, we can let them know?
working on it. So
Okay.
I do have a tentative distribution list that was shared with me last week. I haven't had a chance to cross-reference it with like the contact list that we have, that Excel list of tenants. So
Okay.
at some point, I'll probably go through and kind of scrub that list and make sure that we have an appropriate contact method for everyone. Right now, I have a few individuals, Jeff Apple and
Website.
Walter Day and a few.
Mr. Sheridan's in the audience today.
Yeah, so I have a few key individuals that I'm passing
Whatever you
certain
say,
information to.
he's
but-
going to pass along to everybody.
But yeah, I would love to have a kind of an all distribution list like we have with Exact, be able to communicate with people. So that's on the to-do list. And I guess kind of my question maybe to your office, Mike, is I know you guys have all the documentation, all the contracts and stuff like that for Sheridan. Do we have a timeline for when we'll kind of have that stuff digitized and accessible?
I don't.
Okay. At some point, I'll probably want to take a look at that so I have an understanding
The big
on.
kids took care of that closing.
Okay.
Unless you want all the hard copies.
No, I do not want hard copies. No, I'm fine with waiting for the digitized versions, but
Let me check with the ladies, because they were just scanning in. They might have done it already. so
Okay.
If I could just send them over.
okay, yeah, that'd be great to have because I don't have really a understanding on what contracts we have, what leases we have,
Right.
when they expire, or anything like that. So,
Okay.
and I know we do have some individuals that are waiting to move into a hangar, so we can talk.
You want to go through that now?
Which what?
The empty hangar?
The cap hangar.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a conversation with Sam, and I relayed my thoughts on that. We got one that's empty now. I feel like hangars are like chips in a poker game, all right? So whoever, if we have people moving out, it needs to be a board decision who gets to move in. That was one of the problems with the previous owner. It was kind of arbitrary who got the hangar, who didn't get the hangar. Now, there's an empty one now, and I call it a hangar and a half hangar. It's got a garage door. It's empty. Commemorative Air Force would like to move one of their planes. Now, they'll be moving it from TYQ, isn't it?
I think it's Metro.
Metro?
Yeah.
Anyway, they want to get both planes at Sheridan, which seems reasonable. And they're good tenants and decent people, and they have little meetings up there. But on this particular one, there's a half hangar attached. You know what I'm talking about? It's a garage door. We want to keep it for our use. Okay. They can rent the hangar. We need that. We have no storage space. Now, it may turn out a year from now, 6 months from now, another one of the half hangars may come available. But for right now, we want to keep that for our own use. If that's agreeable with you guys, that's just my thought. It's empty right now, a new renter wants to go in, but here's some space.
And they've got plenty of room for their aircraft without the half hangar.
Exactly. It doesn't, the half doesn't hold an aircraft. It's like a single car garage.
Okay, but it's not a wingspan that overlaps.
No, it's not big enough for an airplane. No, and it does not impose, it's at the end of a T hangar, you always have a little bit left, and that's what it is.
Is there no wall between the
There's no
hangar?
wall.
It's between it and the half hangar, okay.
It's
That's what I was
completely
wondering.
open. And that's just a suggestion. But I'd just say to the board members, keep that in mind. Empty hangars are valuable. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of them
Yeah,
around.
we need to give
Well,
it-
I think just because we're still feeling our way about what we're gonna have to be, co-locate there of our equipment and stuff, that we need to keep that
Yeah,
open.
yeah. It may change that in the future. There are other I think there's might be 2 or 3 other ones out there that we may come into possession, you know what I mean? But for right now, that one's empty. Need to keep that. And if you want to, have Sam or make a decision on your own that commemorative can have it, that needs to be a board decision.
No,
Okay.
I think, like you said, we don't know what space we're going to need. We don't have any storage space there. We've got it available now. We can still lease them the hangar part
Yes.
without the half hangar.
That would be my suggestion.
That plane went to Anchorage, by the way,
Did it?
that cat plane.
The Gripson? Wow. It seems like a good Alaskan plane anyway.
I think they want to, they got a Stearman there and they want to be BT-19 or something.
Okay.
Should be a board decision who gets the as they come available. That takes it off Sam when they call and want to complain.
Have we already promised the hangar to
The previous
Air
owner
Force?
did.
Okay.
There's a new sheriff in town.
Do we have to reopen that negotiation, or is that?
That's up to you.
That's a verbal agreement, it's not worth the paper it's written on.
So I suppose.
Somebody did contact you about that, didn't they?
Yeah, I talked with Darren a little bit about that, and I have some contact with the CAF too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess with that in mind, do we want the board to essentially make a motion
I think that would be.
to move them into that hangar, and I'll work with the legal department to generate some kind of lease agreement with them and get that process going.
Yeah, and if we could also like a written process of the hangar.
Yeah, for future hangars, yeah.
That way, remove some of the liability from us, and here it is, it's processed.
Yeah.
I think since they've already had a commitment, albeit from the previous owner, to move in there, I think we have to honor that and go ahead and give them permission to use that, but not the half hangar.
Just the aircraft portion of the
Just the
hangar.
aircraft portion.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and make it a motion. We have no idea how many things he's promised or how
Right.
many.
So I'll make a motion that
promises they think
we
were made.
allocate the one empty hangar at Sheridan for use by the commemorative Air Force.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, please signify approval by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries.
Okay. And I'll get with David to
Okay.
start establishing how that's gonna look.
Yep.
Okay.
That's good.
All right.
Yeah, we should try to develop a mechanism, both published as well as we use internally, to, in the future, if hangars become available, how do we go about assigning priority?
Yeah, I get daily phone calls from people asking about hangars there.
Yeah.
So,
Let's push that to the
I do
website,
too.
fill out a form.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it's at your discretion.
yeah. So I'll work on a mechanism over the next month or so to develop kind of a wait list and then kind of a process for when hangars do empty, getting people into hangars and kind of
Do the
streamlining
current
stuff.
leases require a certain lead time for whether they want to A, renew, or B, let the lease expire?
I think Sam's gonna have to look at the leases.
Okay.
I haven't seen a lease
That they
yet.
got. He hadn't seen-
I just confirmed, we'll have them to you tomorrow.
Okay, all right. So
Sam, I can share one of our leases with you.
as like
give you
as
a-
yeah, that'd probably
I'll
be
share a
good.
blank
Yeah,
one.
we
and
may
you can-
want to upgrade
Yeah.
the back of the napkin forms with.
Yeah. So yeah, give us what you
I'll
have,
share
and
it.
I'll share it with the legal department, and we can see how we can tailor that.
Because we have, I mean, there's like certain insurance minimums you're gonna wanna have as well. Just to his point, get some of the liability off of you all.
Yeah.
There's some,
absolutely. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. So, I mean, a lot of stuff to kind of sort out and figure out when it comes to the hangars. So
Airplanes only.
airplanes only, no RVs. That's our motto. Well, maybe RV airplanes, but not RV the driver. Yeah, we like RVs. Those are cool airplanes. Okay, and then final thing I had was what we discussed during the executive session, which was kind of the personnel type items. So based off the discussion that we already had, I would request a board motion to update my position description, as well as the review of the line, the pay line, or the pay level, I should say, of my pay to the 12% that we talked about, as well as the approval to move forward with HR to look at hiring both the administrative assistant and the maintenance worker part-time positions for the airport authority.
I would do so moved. to
Second.
discuss.
I'm going to abstain, so I didn't hear any of that discussion.
Okay. Any further discussion? Now, let me get this straight. I think as far as the first item, you're redefining your position. Is that something we do? Is that HR got to make that decision?
Goes to HR.
Yeah,
It goes for a WIS review.
Well,
Yeah.
Isn't that what we already had?
based off of the email I had from HR from this afternoon, they basically said that the board would need to approve. See here, the board would need to ask for me to move up the appropriate amount of levels that we talked about. So there would have to be some kind of board motion for me to move up more than the 2 levels. That is standard.
Brad, doesn't HR have job descriptions with duties and all that stuff?
Yeah, so that's been
You
up-
make the
yeah.
request, it'll go to HR, then it'll land.
They'll write it up.
Yeah, so that's been done. So I've
Okay.
already done all the HR paperwork and stuff like that
Okay.
for my positions and for the 2 part-time positions.
You know what you're supposed to do.
As well, and they already reviewed that, and that's the email I got back today was
Okay.
the board would have to essentially approve the request to put in for the additional step increases on the pay scale. I don't think they necessarily have to approve the description change, but we might as well. I'm not 100% sure about that without having them here.
Like I said, we did that last job description in 2014, 2015, something like that. So
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, so I already scrubbed it and kind of updated it with Sheridan's information and stuff like that. But so that's been updated. I would say let's do a board action on that just to have that.
Okay.
But also the board action for the 2 part-time positions and then the pay level increase as well. So
Okay.
that'd be my request.
We've had the motion, we've had a second, so if there's no further discussion, we'll call the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed by saying nay.
Dave abstained.
Dave abstained because he wasn't there for this discussion.
Okay. Thank you, and obviously I'll keep everyone apprised of how that process is going, the hiring process, and we'll work closely with HR to
Okay.
get that going, so we can start getting people to help out with maintenance and administrative type stuff.
Okay.
So more updates to come on that. And that's essentially all I had. I did want to share that in my pictures that I include on my report. I have some of the basic construction pictures that I normally have, but I also have a picture of an airplane. I just want to highlight that. That was the first ever electric airplane I've ever seen, and definitely the first one we've ever had at the airport.
That
So
one that was flying
Did they
around?
use your charger?
they did not. I was hoping they'd go out to the parking lot and use our charger. They didn't do that.
I think Sue Pinkman went up in that, didn't she, the mayor of Carmel? 'Cause she has something in her little newsletter talking about she'd gone up in some new electric airplane.
It could be. He was flying out of IND, and he
Okay.
did a couple laps at Exact, so they could have been with the mayor of Carmel on board. I'm not quite sure. But they did 2 or 3 touch and goes at the airport, and then disappeared quite loudly. I might add. They're not quiet airplanes,
really?
despite being electric. They sound like a loud turboprop going
No,
by.
it's a prop noise that makes a noise. Not
Yeah, it was quite loud, but Chris was there. It was kind of a pretty cool experience to see him going by. So Beta Technologies is the name of the company, and that is all I had for this month. So.
Okay, thank you, sir. Jet access, we have anything further?
I do have one more thing, yes. We are officially full go on the new executive hangars. So we would like to ask for an exec session next month because we would like to finalize the lease for the new hangar. And then also initial approvals for the new hangar design, layout, and location. Our intention is we want to start grading in September. So.
Okay, so we'll do that. You want an exec for before the next board meeting?
Yes.
Okay, we can accommodate that.
All right.
Could you fill in some of the blanks, and we'll use the old lease at least for the starting point, and how big, where, how much, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Kick it up.
That works. Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, Wilbert.
I'll start with the glide slope. We've made a lot of good progress over the last month. We're currently with the new tower up and the new foundation in. So that means we took the tower down, we took the antennas off, new tower down, foundation removed, all the new stuff in place. We'll be out sometime next week to install the existing equipment back on the new tower, which essentially creates the tower eligible for flight check. I don't know when that flight check will happen yet. It's being coordinated as we speak. So as soon as we have dates for that flight check, I will then relay that information. But we are on schedule per our direction, probably last month or the month before, I believe. So still targeting that September timeframe.
I did take my binoculars out last week and look at the new tower that was up from the terminal building.
It's also orange and white.
Yes, I know.
That's all I'll say.
I noticed that.
It has a ladder on it, though.
I'm not going to say anything else. Lighting project, AFC, like Sam said, substantially completed. Flight check for the PAPI next week. Other than that, we should have final paperwork to complete the project at the next board meeting, and we'll move on to the next one, being the taxiway. So for the taxiway project, we had a pre-construction meeting at the airport on the 23rd. Everyone in attendance shown on the engineer's agenda. Additional construction coordination meetings have been held weekly, and they will be held weekly until the project is complete. These meetings have been extremely beneficial for, I believe, all the entities at the airport, the FBO, Wolpert, Bex, the contractor. There's so much going on in that northern corner of the airport. So they're needed meetings, and I think everyone's been benefiting from them. We're able to time things out really nicely between all the different construction projects going on. So the other two things we on the agenda, we're still coordinating with the sanitary, the health departments for the county and the state on the septic stuff. We did have an inspection done 2 Thursdays ago at the end of last month. Everything checked out nicely. And then we just received the drainage approval, so we no longer need assistance with that to get the approval from the survey group here at the county. So that being said, we were entertaining 2 reusable equipment on the project to save the project funding. One of them was going to be a partnership with NDOT to reuse taxiway edge lights from past Indianapolis international projects. Those edge lights have they were evaluated today by the contractor, and they elected not to use them just because of the uncertainty of them actually functioning long term. So we're going to stick with the original scope of work and install new edge lights. That's news as of 2 o'clock this afternoon. And then we were going to use new, we call it P209 as the specification stone underneath the concrete. We're electing to use crushed concrete as the aggregate instead, so reusing existing material, which has been something that we've used at other airports quite successfully and with this contractor in the last couple of years. So We anticipate credits coming back to the project for those things, as well as saving emissions and new material as well. So the proposed schedule for construction start date is the 25th of August. So we have 1 week. It's going to be a busy week next week, getting utility locates, soft digs, etc. I believe Technology Days is happening. Their construction's happening. So the airport's not going to slow down this year, which is okay. And then substantial completion is November. So like I've been saying routinely at these meetings, our Gantt chart or our schedule down at the bottom of the agenda is still on track for construction to finish by the end of this year for that taxiway alpha extension. So any questions regarding the extension project? Okay.
You, the county loaned you the airport a substantial amount of money.
Correct.
Any thoughts on when we might get some FAA reimbursement?
Yeah, so the FAA has been very cooperative in the last probably 2 weeks, I'd say, and getting grants in and like coordinating numbers and such. So I would anticipate grants to come within the next 2 weeks, and I know I've been saying that, but I don't know if you want to add anything.
I do.
Yeah.
Just because I talked to Chad Oliver at
Perfect.
the ADO. Chad Oliver in the Chicago ADO, he manages the funding list and the programming. When I talked to him, was it last week? Yeah, it was last week, Thursday, Friday. He said, Chris, we just got out of a meeting this morning where we advised all the program managers all grants will be issued in August, and they're all coming all at the same time, so be prepared. He said August will be very busy for the FAA, so we fully anticipate that you'll be issued those grants in August.
August?
Yep.
Okay.
They said we will have another round of funding that will go out in September, but Chris, those will be long-term cleanup ones. We're doing everything in August.
Okay.
And he's like, it's going to be a lot. So you're not the only one. There's several other people in waiting, but he said we've now been given the green light on everything. So, but he couldn't tell me what day, what week they were going to release it. So.
And the critical thing is that the grant is tied to the lighting project, and since the lighting project is done, we can essentially ask for 100% reimbursement on that grant, close it out quickly, and then obviously return the money.
In August.
Well, I won't commit to that.
The grant gets signed in August, and then the paperwork starts, so September, October. Then the state doesn't do theirs until October, November, so you'll get their portion towards the end of the year. So
when would Haley see checks?
Checks would be probably in October from the feds, late October, because we could probably do a pay request in October at the October board meeting. And then you get the Fed portion of that payment, and then when the state releases their portion, you could get the local. That'd be as late as January usually. So it depends on how they prioritize their grants. They just don't get an authorization until later. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Last thing, taxiway alpha rehab project. We are probably about 50% through completion. I'll coordinate with you, Sam, on that safety and phasing meeting that I've been talking about. Get that on the calendar, and then we could discuss that. And then the last thing on the list is the CBP. I think Chris talked about it briefly in the exec session, but we were going to propose and work with Sam on coordinating a schematic design contract to get that floor plan figured out in coordination with the CBP office, and then from that point forward we would then have a second design contract for full construction documents, and it's in that order we would like to do it because things may change with the schematic design that we would like to incorporate into a final design contract. So we can anticipate having something in front of you all probably at the next board meeting so that we can continue that process forward.
Nick, would it be too much trouble for you to, in your report, to separate out the rehabilitation, ramp A, rehabilitation, reconstruction from the extension? Because they're just on completely different tracks, and
sure,
it's
yeah,
easy to
I can
mix
do
those
that.
up. Thank you.
You bet. That's all that I have.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Under old business, request approval for a Wolper change order for commercial septic inspection.
Thanks for the reminder. I mentioned the septic inspection. It wasn't part of the original scope of work. They needed that inspection in order to certify that the permit that is currently in place is functioning as it was intended, and so that's what that inspection did. It also assured that the county that the system was working appropriately before we made modifications to it with this new construction. So that wasn't accounted for in the original scope of work, so we were including that in this scope of work. That's essentially what the change order is for.
Which county did the inspection?
It was an independent person that was certified to do the, to do
It was
the
for
work.
him.
Yeah.
So we have the change order amount or anything?
$4,000 is the change order amount.
It's,
Oh, there it is, okay.
Yeah, with it being that late in the month, I didn't get the price until I think last Friday. So
I was looking on the back of this, and it wasn't there.
yeah, thank you for the reminder.
All right, I have a motion to approve a change order in the amount of $4,000.
Second. Were you asking for a motion?
I was asking for a motion, but.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All right. All right, there's no further discussion, we'll call a motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, so, where are we? All right, I don't see any old business. New business, we got Beck's requests. Beck's request approval for structural foundation release.
Yeah, thank you. As you're all aware, currently the Bax hangar is well under design, and the utility relocation work has all started, and construction is underway to relocate the utilities on the site. And as a part of that, though, the design is moving in two steps, essentially, in order to expedite construction as quickly as possible. The first one is, and we talked about this at the previous meeting, is to get the structural foundation package approved. It's important that that get done so that Bex can order the structural steel that they don't have yet on site, that's not being provided by Balin, the pre-engineered building, but will be more of a stick-built system. So I'll show that here in a second. And then the second part is the rest of the design components: site, civil, electrical, mechanical, plumbing. So currently the structural package is at 90% and really close to being ready for issuing for permit, essentially, to go to the state agency for an early foundation release. And the current design of the hangar is at about 60%. Tomorrow we're actually meeting with Bex to go through the 60% plans. And then those will be presented next month for 90% review and approval by the board. So if I could, I want to know if I could share the screen. I think they can see it, but I'm not sure anybody else can see it. So.
Are you gonna show us pictures? Is that what you're doing?
We're going to show you a picture. So, yeah. Yeah, I plugged it on the HDMI.
All right, we're good.
That's usually how I do it. So, might be hard to see, but this is the currently progress of the rendering of the existing facility right now and its status of what you can see. So it includes the expanded canopy off the existing structure with a new links building that will go between the two of them, so that employees, customers that essentially can go between the two hangars freely. And they can have different events and activities, meeting spaces essentially in that new links facility. And then on the outside, you can essentially see the customs facility that was part of the project as well. So with that, the 90% plans, as you see them right here, were put together by JPS, a sub-consultant of Wolpert's. Pretty much at this point, we feel like they're essentially near complete and ready to go. So we would just request a motion from the board for approval of those foundations so that they can go forward for issuance of permit. Obviously, we will do the same thing before. All these will be signed and stamped, and then we will make sure the airport gets a copy of them. So does anybody have any questions?
You know, Mike Howard, when we approve these, we're not approving anything other than they were here and they said it's a good idea to move forward.
Yes. It's kind of ratifying that the board has seen this, and if they have any questions right now, and if they have any questions tomorrow, everybody's got Chris's number.
Okay, made me a little nervous when we said we're approving the plans.
Yeah.
Well, right
Approval
now,
of the plans.
plans are probably a little bit schematic, I would guess.
Yeah, but we don't build anything until they're signed and stamped. And in this case, we can't go forward without the state building permit. So we have to get their state building permit before we can build foundations
And you need a motion from us to do that.
in order for us to proceed.
Okay, I'd be happy to make the motion to acknowledge you guys have brought these in. They're at 90% and we accept them as they're presented and urge you to move forward.
Okay, all right.
I'll second. Okay, any further discussion? If not, we'll call the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying no. The ayes have it, the motion carries.
Looks great.
Good. The other item that we had for tonight is just a brief conversation that we've had with others here at the airport, is looking at some terminal movement modifications that would enhance the operations of the airport near the terminal and future parking configurations, including for CBP. So identifying a red box area, but also providing the necessary movement for taxi lane object-free area clearances, including for larger aircraft to be wing walked, essentially. Also leaving room for a sidewalk. Currently, we are planning to move forward with this new layout and configuration, and we'll present it to the board next month. But it is really important that if there's any concerns associated with this new layout, that they be brought forward so we have an opportunity, to review them. So we will send out this exhibit so that everybody gets a chance to see it, and make sure that if there's any further discussions we need to have, we can do that at that time. So, okay?
Yeah, I think the one that's best positioned to comment on that would be Sam and the people at Jet Access.
Yeah, and we have preliminary review them with each of them, so they do have some indicators on essentially what we're looking to do, and they were both very good in feedback to say we want you to consider obviously CBP parking, we need you to consider snow removal. There's all these little components that we still have to build into this layout, but for the most part, we think we can make that happen with what we have here today.
Does this need to be done before steel goes up, or before?
We will
the
need
building
it
opens?
approved next month before the steel goes up and the foundations get installed.
When does the work need to be done by?
This movement on the taxi lane movement,
Yeah.
it would be done after the taxiway is completed, so it would have to be done in November. Yeah, so it'd be done in November, because the Jet Access would like to be able to keep the two taxi lanes certainly operational for them. And what's going to happen in those cases is that we're going to have to work very closely with Jet Access so that as construction is occurring on both sides of them, that they aren't fully restricted. So, and that's currently happening, just in trying to understand, okay, when are we going to be in the taxi lane object-free area? How do we move back out of that taxi lane object-free area so that we can build and construct at the same time? So, and then what limitations might exist when the building starts to get erected? So, foundations are going in September. So the building's going in October is when the building would be erected right now, correct? Correct. Okay, so just want to make sure I get that right. So there will be 1 month of some complex phasing and organization because that taxi lane will be affected essentially or closely affected for that 1 month. So we may have to maybe accelerate some of it, work with Jet Access. Maybe they'll finish the taxi way on time, maybe early. I don't know. We're going to figure out a way to be able to get through the month of October where we have to kind of work together to avoid any significant conflicts.
Real quick on a standard operating, so if we look at this, Jet 1 is sitting in the CBP box. Let's presume Jet 2 is also an international flight, which is to the right. they're waiting to go into the CVP box.
Mm-hmm.
Motor running, APU running, the door has to be shut. And then how long are they?
Yeah, I actually talked with Sean a little bit about this. So
Okay.
everyone will have to actually stay in the aircraft until they're positioned into that CBP box. And Jet Access will have to position them in that CBP box.
Oh, jet access. Okay.
Yes.
So they can shut down and hook up to a cart. They're just not sitting there.
Yeah, yeah, they will have to figure that out. But they can't depart that aircraft unless they're authorized by CBP to park somewhere else.
Okay.
So they may do that. There are airports I go to that you're not authorized or required to go into the red box, but you still be in visual line of sight. So like, for example, an aircraft might be able to park here in accordance with CBP, but if then they have a problem, they may move them over, or the aircraft may have to be towed over to the box.
Gotcha.
So, okay, for detainment or other purposes, so. Okay, any questions on this? Okay, Chris, you want to add anything else?
Yeah. One final thing we wanted to mention was, it was talked about last meeting as we've kind of progressed through our project, and Customs has come alongside in that, doing some sort of public announcement, groundbreaking type of an event. And so we want to make the board aware that from Bex's standpoint, our current plan right now is to kind of do a public announcement / groundbreaking the early parts of September. Right now we're looking at 2 dates, either September 10th or September the 12th. Actually, right before Sonny stepped out, he mentioned to me that he's now unavailable on the 10th. So the 12th is now becoming that kind of leading date for us. So I wanted to make mention of that to the board in case you all want to be a part of that, and we can talk about what that event looks like, the invite list, how what the announcement looks like, because obviously we'll have our own internal announcement, but certainly want you guys to have your announcement as well for the expansion that's happening with the customs facility. So just that's more of an awareness than anything, but wanted to let you all know our intentions of how we plan to do our announcement and groundbreaking.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's look at that. Legal counsel report. Dave, Mike?
I know Sam's been working on a lot of things. We've been meeting with him and making sure things are going well. The RPZ, and I apologize, but the landowner's principal has a house in northern Michigan, and he goes up there for 2 weeks and doesn't turn his phone back on. So when he gets back, we'll have an update.
That is.
And I'm going for 3 days. But and we need to talk about some issues, where we are with him.
Yeah, we have to talk about what else is being asked of that.
Yeah.
Which is not. Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
County council?
Yeah, I got a few things I want to go through, mainly with Sheridan. And I want to say right off the bat that Sam has been a big help trying to incorporate Sheridan into the county family. And when I say that, that's not a small job. We went from a private entity to county, and county brings a whole bunch of rules along with it. And I also want to say that Sam's been a big help. He got on top of it. His idea to have Jet Access help with the fuel, which I think was a good idea. Just the actual getting a bank account for the money to go in is a big deal when it comes to the county. And so I think having them initially help us with the fuel was a good idea. I want you to know, the board to know, that Haley's been doing great work on the back end of county as far as the rent is concerned. We, within a few days of actually acquiring the airport, we sent out a letter to all the hangar leasers. There's a new owner, here's where you send your money, blah, blah, blah. We've started getting rent checks. She set up the bank accounts so that they know where to send the rent money. It is coming in right now. She's keeping it separate in a Sheridan account and set up separate accounts with the excess buying money. So there is money available right now to take care of miscellaneous things that come up, like a fuel and whatnot. There are funds available, there are line items available, and these are not small pieces of work to get this to actually happen. So the hangar rent is under control. There's a place for them to send in. The county accountant's assistant Kelly is on top of who, after we go through the first month, who's not paying, and then contact them, you know what I mean? And so that's worked pretty good. We got something going on the gas, we got something going on the hangar rent. We're trying to get it to the place where it's not more of a burden for Sam than it absolutely has to be. In a few months, I'm hoping that it just kind of happens without him having to take a shovel out and make it happen every day as far as Sheridan's concerned. One other concern is, or two other concerns is grass. Within a few days of buying it, I got a hold of Sam and said, man, we bought this airport, the guy didn't leave us a mower. We got to mow grass, and when I say we got to mow grass, one of our runways is grass. It's not just around the office, one of our runways, and the rules that go along with it. We can't go hire Joe Blow grass cutting company. Right. You got to be a vendor with the county. You got to prove insurance, this, that, and the other thing. Sam was on top of that. Got a hold of the people that do the grass mowing at Exec. They come over with their crew. We already have account with them, so they would do it without writing a check immediately. And that worked out great. One thing I will say about grass, a grass runway is more critical than mowing the grass around the hangar, okay? And we can go into that later. I won't go in. I'm not a grass expert, but it was explained to me why the cutting of the grass on the runway is important. And so I've been working back channels of county government, and lo and behold, I found somebody in the county system that has a back wing finish mower and a trailer. So I'll be contacting them. I'll get with Sam whenever we have the grass mowed, and we'll see if I can get them come up and mow the runway with the finish mower. But I'll work with him on that. And then there's another thing. There was a lady with the previous owner come up and clean the lobby, clean the bathroom, clean the lobby. Okay, good enough. She's willing to continue to do it, and we got to pay her. There comes the problem. You can't just pay them. We just can't write a check. You got to prove this. You got to prove that. So what I'm going to do in the next week or so, I'm going to try to contact, and we even went so far as at the last county council meeting, signed an ordinance that the auditor came up with to let us pay this lady to clean the bathroom. That's not good enough. Has to do with insurance and liability and whatnot. So anyway, so I'm going to work with other county departments and see if the housekeeping they got for other county buildings we might not be able to incorporate into coming up and cleaning our lobby and our bathrooms at Sheridan. So what I'm saying to you is I'm trying to use the entire county family of departments to get the jobs done that need to be done. It's not simple, okay? And Sam's been working on it, we've been working on it, and we'll get it down here directly. But that's what I'm working on next, how we can get our lobby and bathrooms clean and still be in compliance.
David, you sent stuff. Is that kind of on hold till?
Yeah, I spoke to Councilman Beaver this morning. We're going to put a pause on that, so you won't be signing that today.
Okay. Let me give you an example. Now, I know because I do some work for the county. They want $1 million worth of liability insurance. They want $500,000 on your car. You got approved workman's comp, and they got a third party that checks your insurance that you can't call on the phone. Okay, they say, well, you're in non-compliance. No, I'm not. I got my right here. Well, no, and there's nobody at the county that wants to take that phone call either. It's not a small problem. So that's why I'm going to try to work with our county departments who've already got employees that are doing these jobs. Come over and help us out over at Sheridan, and they might cooperate if I make that telephone call.
If you're lucky, right?
Sam, did you put up any live banner yet?
At Sheridan, no. We do have a live doormat at Exec, and we have some hats. That's about it. I will say that we could, just as an option, we could potentially work with Jet Access. They have a cleaning company that cleans Exec. So there might be a way of kind of piggybacking on their agreement. Pay them to pay the cleaning person to go up there.
I'll make a few calls and see what we can get worked out. The county has a lot of buildings. When you think about just the judicial court,
Right.
we got parks, we got a lot of buildings. So I'm gonna work with the guys and see what I can get worked out. It's a small problem, but
It's a
takes
small
not-
problems that
ta-
are most
takes a lot of
irritating, right?
finagle, and I'd like to, in a few months, I hope to have this where it just kind of happens and you don't even notice it. That's not the case right now. Everything takes eyeballs on it to make it go. That's about all I got.
All right, thank you, Brad.
Yeah, let us know if you need help. I got a scrub brush.
Well, there's a thing called a buckhorn,
Yes.
okay? And it don't like to be mowed. And it lays down and then pops back up. I was alerted to that by somebody that rents out there.
Oh. All right, secretary's report.
Okay, I need a motion to approve vendor claims in the amount $4,840,288.39, which includes the price of the Sheridan acquisition.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll call the motion. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries.
And then a motion to approve payroll claims.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, we'll call the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Okay, so, let's see, are we... anything else on
We have a
that?
little sticker shock.
Yeah, yeah.
Grass cutting.
Includes the continuity report, too.
Do they use the grass overlay a lot?
What?
Do they use the grass overlay?
Yeah.
Our next meeting is
A lot of those
September
meetings are there
10th, so we're adjourned until then.
Children like that.
Yeah, I landed, that Gibson